first thing, a lot of thing about spoilers has been floating around surrounding this movie. People don't, and I think probably fairly so, don't want the film spoiled.
Yeah.
We are going to completely spoil the film.
There's no way to talk about it without revealing something that Disney have tried to keep under wraps. Basically, no one knows anything about the film before going in.
No.
They revealed pretty much nothing apart from the fact it was set in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
That was about it, so yeah.
From this point on, we're talking 100% spoilers, so if you don't want the film ruined,
Yep.
go away and watch it, and then come back and watch our review.
Saying it's probably best to do like what we thought equal each, and then to sort of argue about it afterwards.
No, not argue.
Discuss.
Debate. Debate the merits of the film.
Okay. So
we both had quite different reactions to the film.
well, I thought that there's a lot of stuff to like about the film. I thought it was by far the funniest Star Wars film, removed from the horrible sort of cheesy 50s kind of humour of George Lucas.
I mean, the awful attempts at slapstick comedy in Revenge of the Sith and...
Yeah, or like Jar Jar. There was none of that. Even the originals, the comedy is sort of like, gee whiz, gee wilkers kind of thing. It's
I actually think until this one, the funniest Star Wars film is The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, well...
It's actually a very funny film.
Yeah, well that's not written by... That's written by the same guy who wrote this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah, anyway.
The genius. Anyway, yeah, so it's by far the funniest one. The acting, I thought, was very good, with one notable exception. Who do you think the notable... I'll try this first. Who do you think the notable exception is?
Well, based on our discussion,
Yeah.
I want to say Carrie Fisher.
No, it was... No, I thought she was fine.
Okay.
She was fine. It was that guy who was playing the general. He was awful.
Oh, yeah.
General Hook. Oh, I'm scowling.
Yeah.
The rebels.
Yeah.
Well, he was awful. Like that performance was what was he going for? It was so tonally different from everything they were trying to do.
He was trying to go for like one of the over the top generals from like the older films. You know, like do you remember
Peter Cushing?
No, not even Peter Cushing. Like one of the people lower than Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
Do you remember in Empire Strikes Back? There's one who's inside the AT-AT, and he's the bad guy in Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Like that kind of guy, squash the rebels and kill them all, like that kind of thing.
But it just didn't work in this film at all.
No.
The actor is really good. Do you know he's the son of the guy from In Bruges?
Which guy?
Brandon Gleeson. Not the one who isn't Colin Farrell.
Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan is his son.
Oh.
But other than that, you know, the main three people are all good.
Yeah.
So the acting was good. It was good to see a Star Wars film that's well paced after the prequels. It was zippy, it was fun, it went past quick.
Had a sense of excitement and adventure, and
it's always nice to see a big budget film using a cast where the main person's a woman and the other two people are what's Oscar Isaac? He's something. Is he Dominican or something?
I have no idea.
He's not like a white man. Well, you know what I mean, like American kind of.
Yeah.
And obviously the other guy's black, so it's nice to see that.
A bit of diversity.
Yeah. Well, everyone says that George Lucas is a racist, isn't he? After Lando Calrissian's the only black guy in the original trilogy.
To its benefit, Lando Calrissian is like the coolest character in Star Wars.
I don't think it has any merit, but people say that. I think that's a bit overrated.
Lando Calrissian.
No, I mean the fact that that George Lucas is a racist.
Oh, right.
I think Lando Calrissian's awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't agreeing to George Lucas being a complete racist. He, like you say, he's just got like a 50s mentality.
Exactly, yeah. It was alright back then, Grandad.
Now it's not now. You can't keep making American graffiti anymore.
But yeah, that was fine. The film overall is fine. My problems with the film is I think it suffers from things that a lot of blockbusters do, which is I thought a remake of A New Hope. I know you disagree, but I thought...
No. I don't disagree.
You just don't think it's a demerit?
I don't think it's a demerit, yeah.
I do. I thought that the film was basically just a remake of A New Hope. And I also thought it suffered from the fact that, like, it felt to me like there were a lot of things introduced that would be paid off in later films. Almost to the film's demerit. Like, that it had a lot of things that were just there to suggest things that were going to happen later on. But yeah, basically that's the broad outline of what I thought. But yes, so what did you think?
Well, actually, I agree with most of your points there.
Yeah.
I thought the film was kind of bright, breezy, entertaining.
Yep.
It was an entertaining piece of nonsense, as my grandma would say. It was an entertaining kind of 2 hours. It was nice to see Star Wars being used in a positive way. You say it's a kind of like almost a remake of A New Hope.
Yeah.
New Hope is the centerpiece of it. I do agree, but I think they do some kind of clever things of kind of like undermining your expectations a bit. I like the new characters. I really like the new cast. In fact, I wish there was less of the old cast.
Yeah.
I wish there was less Han Solo and more Rey and more Finn, because I really like all the new characters they've introduced.
Yeah.
I loved the look of the film.
Yeah.
It felt like it belonged in the Star Wars universe as opposed to the prequels.
Yeah.
Which felt like kind of weird, like, doesn't make any sense. You know the whole thing called the Renaissance happened in Italy? You know how like art design slowly changed over the course of like 100, 200 years? Apparently the art design of the whole universe could change in the span of like 13 years. Well, no, like 13 years.
Oh, yeah.
Over the course of when Phantom Menace begins to where Revenge of the Sith ends, apparently it could completely change in 13 years, including the designs of complex spacecraft.
Yeah. Yeah, the prequels are... It's hard to talk about these films without talking about the prequels. I actually think the prequels have propped up the reputation of this film a little bit.
Yeah,
Because it's been pretty much acclaimed across... There have been some review... No one's given it a bad review, but people have given it sort of, you know... I think the lowest I've seen it get is a 5 out of 10. And like, I think the average is sort of 7 or 8.
No, I'd go higher than that. The average, I've seen like 4 stars, 5 stars pretty much across the board from people.
Yeah.
It's either like 8, 9s or 10s. So
that's too high.
I think you're actually underrating the
critical appraisal of the film.
So it's got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's insane. It's not a 95% film.
The Guardian gave it 5 stars, and
Peter Bradshaw.
But yeah, anyway. So I mean, like I really enjoyed the film. I really liked all the new characters. The things that held the film back a bit with me were I thought the acting from the older members of cast weren't great. I don't think Harrison Ford's a good actor. I don't think he ever has been a good actor.
I actually thought he was fine in the film.
I thought he was awkward.
Okay.
And confused. Carrie Fisher wasn't very good. Mark Hamill looked like really confused at the end of the film.
Yeah.
But Mark Hamill's a great actor.
Yeah, he's a good voice actor.
He's an excellent voice actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the new cast. I wish they could have cut down on the old cast. The homages, while at times I think maybe went one step too far, I thought they were loving, and there are some cases where they actually actively undermined the original what they were referencing originally.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with the film is I thought there was some extraneous plot elements which didn't need to be there. I don't think there's any need to destroy the planet. There was no need.
Stupid.
There was no need for the Starkiller base. It could have been the exact same film without it. It's only because we need a new Death Star. We need a planet destruction at the end of it.
Well, that's what I was saying, because it's really confusing how it's even implemented.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning they're looking for Luke Skywalker plans. That's all fine. And then out of nowhere they just do that scene where it destroys the planet.
Yeah.
Why? There's no build-up or anything to it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into all that. I'm just giving my broad overview.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some extraneous plot elements which I feel didn't really work 100%. And I agree with you about it. Seemed to me they were setting loads of stuff up for future films, like the mystery of who Rey's parents are and what really happened in the intervening 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, it actually reminded me of quite a lot.
What?
The Legend of Korra.
I've never seen that. I know what it is, but I've never seen it.
The sequel series to The Legend of Aang, where there's a big time skip in between the two series.
Yeah.
You're dealing with kind of the grandsons of the original characters, and you want to know what happened in the intervening years. You want to get a nice broad view of what happened to them, and the series quite cleverly kind of drops hints and clues, and then over the course of the series you form the picture. The Force Awakens felt like that, but it did too much.
Yeah.
It raised way too many questions.
It felt almost incomplete.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
As if this film, I think, could have easily been 4 hours with the amount of stuff they raised that needed to be
addressed. So maybe but that said, I loved the look of the universe. I loved how they really put the emphasis on the practical effects.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of practical special effects. I think you can get a realism to which CGI can never ever do.
Yeah. Just watch Society and you can see what we mean.
Well, exactly, yeah. Society would suck with CGI.
Yeah.
But you get a real sense of realism. It feels like a lived-in universe. The Star Wars franchise feels alive again. And I think the best thing I can say about The Force Awakens is that it's going to set up what I feel is going to be a really great sequel.
Yes.
I think I like the new cast of characters and do a really good job at introducing them. With the next one, make it a bit different. I'm quite hopeful for the next one.
Yeah.
Because it's Rian Johnson.
He's a great director.
Great director. He made Brick, he made Looper, both brilliant films. He also directed 2 of the best episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Including The Fly.
The Fly and Ozymandias.
Ozymandias, yeah. 2 of the best episodes of Breaking Bad. So I'm really, really hopeful for the next one. So the best I can say about Force Awakens is that it sets it all up really well. But the elements that kind of hold it back for me are more the J.J. Abrams stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff I come to expect from J.J. Abrams. Okay, so the most divisive element of this film has been the villain.
Yeah.
Now, the real big villain of the film is Supreme Commander Snoke, who is a motion capture character played by Andy Serkis, who is a mysterious alien creature, and we only see glimpses of him. Instead, we've got Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver, who is the son of Han Solo and Princess Leia.
Yep.
What did you think of Kylo Ren?
I really liked Adam Driver in the film. I thought he was fine because he takes off his mask near the end. I thought there were major problems with it, but I like the fact that because it's sort of playing on the idea of basically the themes that go throughout the films are all about parental. Well, like you've got obviously Luke's whole weird relationship with his father.
Yeah, and his sister.
And his well, I was going to say the weird undertones of his sister.
It's also like a generational thing with Star Wars. The sins of one generation goes on to the next kind of thing. And
so I like that they did that, and they made him more. He's more pathetic, really, than anything else. Destroying his thing.
I actually really liked Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I thought actually when as a sign for me of a good villain is that like at the end of the film I thought they killed him. I was like, oh. I want to see him in the next one. I want to learn more about the character, but we didn't kill him off.
No.
I like how they reference the scene where Darth Vader's unmasked, but they undermine it by having it be kind of this relatively handsome young man.
Yeah.
I really, really liked that. I wasn't expecting it.
No.
You know, I was expecting like this hideously burnt beast or like a scarred monster, but no, it's just like a normal, like, young man.
Yeah. But I thought that the problem I had with it, I thought all that was fine. They didn't go enough into his backstory or anything. Again, probably to lead into another film. Probably to set it up for a later one, yeah. Yeah, and I had a problem with the last fight scene he has with Ray. And what's the guy called? Finn.
Jake and Finn from Adventure Time.
Yeah, Jake and Finn from Adventure Time. Like, I thought that they sort of cheated a little bit with what he could do with his powers. Like at the beginning, you know, he's like deflecting like, you know, blasters and stuff, and at the end of the film, why doesn't he just sort of like choke what's his face to death?
Finn.
Yeah, because he just couldn't if he just pushes her away with force. Why doesn't he just choke him?
I'd got the sense that like by that point the character had gone to like a tipping point.
Yeah.
You get the sense that like at the start of the film he's kind of like an in control of himself character like Darth Vader, but again it undermines it by basically he's like insane and he just killed his own father.
Yeah.
I actually quite liked how he was a powerful kind of Jedi Sith thing. Well, he wasn't really a Sith, but I liked how he was quite powerful, but there were certain techniques which were more in tune with the Force that he like couldn't do. Like I really liked the subtle little thing, like he couldn't pick up the lightsaber instantly. That said, I loved the lightsaber fight at the end of the film.
Yeah, it was fine.
I thought it was great compared to what we had in the prequels, which was stupid, like cartoony nonsense. It got back to what lightsaber fights are all about.
Yeah,
which is the conflict between the characters. Not as strong as the conflicts like in the original trilogy because we've only just met these characters.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he wasn't stupid. It wasn't over the top. He got a sense of danger and realism, which the originals had. The prequels kind of just got rid of.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought though that again the problem with it being part of a mass media franchise is that we know that both of them are going to survive relatively undamaged. I thought that got rid of a lot of the tension.
But then again, you could say that about the original trilogy.
Yeah, but
you know that Luke's not going to die at the end of the film. You know Darth Vader's not going to die at the end of the film. So you might as well say that about like all mass franchise films, like Harry Potter. We know Harry Potter's not going to die, so where's the tension? But in Azkaban, we still feel tension.
Yeah, I don't know.
how
I
do you
thought it was
explain
fine.
How do you explain that?
Oh.
Mr. Professional.
I don't like the Harry Potter films. And the Star Wars films, obviously, you didn't.
Or Indiana Jones, then, or like you might as well go with any film then if you're going to criticise that.
Well, I didn't think it had as much of an emotional impact.
Well, no, that's what I agree there. That like it was about the characters' conflict. It wasn't as strong as the originals, but at least it was a conflict between two characters and not like silly cartoon nonsense.
Yeah. Oh, at the time as well. Of those, well, not Harry Potter, but I don't care about Harry Potter. Never seems to be in that much danger anyway.
I don't know. There are parts where people are threatening to murder him and kill him, and like every single film is always someone out trying to kill him.
Well, I don't like Harry Potter, but with the original Star Wars, obviously that was like no one knew that was going to have a sequel. So at the time, people would have been obviously scared of what was going to happen.
But then, like you could say the same thing about not really because like pretty much instantly it was called Episode 4, so people knew it was part of a bigger story. And people knew there was going to be a second one pretty much instantly. Yeah. So no, I disagree there.
That's fine. Disagree with you.
Yeah. If you're going to criticise, we know the two characters are going to die at the end of the film. You might as well say that about any film that's part of the franchise.
Yeah. Okay.
We know Michael Corleone is not going to die at the end of Godfather Part 2 or even Part 1. You know.
Yeah, but we don't.
It's pointless.
They didn't know there were going to be sequels at the time. People going to the cinema at the time wouldn't have known.
But that's it. Okay, but Big Old Godfather's not a good example. But some of that is definitely part of like a mass media thing, or even something like Lord of the Rings. You know, if you never read the book, you know, I know it's about the bigger story. I probably know Frodo's not going to die at the end of it, or I know Frodo's not going to die along the way. Yeah, it's a bit.
But those films and all brought it back to an emotional.
Well, that's it. I'm not saying Force Awakens did it well. Yeah. I'm just saying it did it okay. It was vaguely passable. Yeah. I said if you're going to start criticising that, you might as well apply the same logic to like.
Anyway, we're getting dragged away with this anyway. But lightsaber fight. You liked it.
So I appreciate. I didn't love it. I said I loved it, but I liked it.
You just said it was great.
Yeah. Well, it was great, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it. Yeah. I retract the love, and I'll say that I liked it and I appreciated that it was about conflict between two characters as opposed to a silly over-the-top cartoon nonsense. Yeah. Oh my god.
Brought the physicality back, basically.
Yeah. It felt like actual weapons and not like just chopsticks.
Yeah. What else have we got? I thought that, as I was saying before, the problem with the film and all is that they sort of they abandon the original sort of going to find Luke and then make it about destroying the Star Killer, yeah. Because I thought that there's just no build up to it or anything.
No, it just comes out of nowhere.
The thing about A New Hope, which makes it so good, is that everything's sort of streamlined. So we're at the beginning, we're introduced obviously the main conflict, which is Empire versus the Rebels. Everything is it is essentially like a 50s film with there's no moral ambiguity. It's just you know exactly like, it's so plain what's going to happen. And that's sort of what gets it along because it's built on that kind of sort of or borderline cheesy adventure film. I thought the problem with this one was that, again, because they were trying to go for so many different elements. But I suppose there's no way to go around that because how do you integrate that ending with the Star Killer into the bit with Rey and everything?
That's it.
The only thing to do it would be to have a plot like another Death Star plan in BB-8, which wouldn't have worked.
No.
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 But saying that, they could have definitely implemented it better than just the cutaway to them using it.
Because you also didn't get any like. It's pretty abrupt. I don't think A New Hope handles it well.
No.
Either. Well, like, they destroy all of Princess Leia's planet and she's got no reaction. It's like, everyone I know is dead.
Yeah.
And it doesn't play into the story.
No.
Because I was thinking about that watching the film, and it's a bit like, well, with original Star Wars, it's like a fairy tale, isn't it? So, whatever.
Well, at least you get the bit where Obi-Wan reacts.
That's true. And Princess Leia is like. And that's all you get.
I think that's more the limited acting that George Lucas can coax out of actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more to do with that. But yeah, bad said, I didn't. The whole planet destruction thing just didn't work.
No.
Didn't work for me. It was an element that could have easily been cut out. It was only in there because we had a Death Star in the old ones. We had a Death Star in this one, but it's got to be a bigger Death Star. It's going to be a planet-sized Death Star, which is powered using the sun. And
when I watched that, I was thinking of your review of Jurassic Park 2.
Oh yeah, it's
not just dinosaurs. There's 2 dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, I know it's the second one because there's 2 T-Rexes and not 1.
They're not just on Jurassic Park. They're in New York.
We're in New York. It's bigger.
But yeah, I also thought that. I can understand why they did it, but I thought, but after the prequels, which are, you know, political machinations that make no sense and basically people talking constantly, they obviously felt the need to do no sort of like political stuff at all, streamline it as much as possible. But I thought it meant that we didn't get enough of what was going on, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Are the First Order, how powerful are they? Why isn't the... After Return of the Jedi, why wouldn't, like, Princess Leia become, like, I don't know, like, Queen of the, like, universe?
Queen of the universe.
Something like that, because...
Or at least the head of the new Galactic Republic.
Exactly, yeah. They should be all... If they're all powerful...
I don't think they should have been afraid from going there, because the original films, they kind of... The thing is that, like, with the original films, like, they weren't bogged down by the backstory.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like, the original film, they talk about, like, you know, there's the scene where Grand Moff Tarkin comes in and talks to all the Empire generals, and he's like, you know, the last of your Republic has now been destroyed. It's like, really? They're all gone?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're all dead. Which contradicts what happens in Revenge of the Sith, of course, because, you know, Palpatine suddenly destroys everything in, like, a day.
Yeah.
But, whatever. I'd say, so there are political elements, but it's not bogged down by it. Like, with Episode 7, they had to pay off our expectations, if you know what I mean.
Well, basically, it's just that Disney will have gotten word that people didn't like political machinations in the original trilogy, and then they'll have just said, like, just delete anything like that. But it made it seem, it's just really confusing.
You didn't get an idea of what was at stake.
Exactly, yeah. And you didn't understand what the First Order are. I liked and all the fact that even though he was terrible in the film, the guy who was playing General Hux, at least they were going for more, like, it was more obviously Nazi parallels.
I liked the whole totalitarian thing of the First Order.
Yeah.
You definitely get the impression that, like, well, my impression was that the First Order was kind of like a much smaller unit than like the Empire ever was, because now it's kind of reversed. But I like the whole thing of, like, you know, it's better than being a clone.
Yeah.
But, you know, they take the whole thing where, like, you know, they take people from a young age and force them into becoming a stormtrooper, and it becomes normal, if not necessary, to you know, become... In fact, the Red Letter Media video predicted that plot element.
Yeah.
He was talking about ways to make Revenge of the Sith more engaging.
Yeah.
And one of the things he was saying was, like, just get rid of the whole clone trooper crap and make it so it's, like, mandatory for people to become part of the Empire, and after a while, because of social conditioning, it's just a normal way of life. And I actually like the whole thing of the whole idea of, like, you know, one of them breaking away and him becoming one of the heroes.
I thought that was good. I thought, though, that what they could have done to add a bit more ambiguity with it, to make it out that it's obvious it's his first mission. It's like, I was chosen. I thought it would have been more interesting if he'd been doing it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
If he'd just slaughtered loads of people and then decided to turn over.
That's true, but I guess from Disney's point of view, they wouldn't want one of the main characters on children's t-shirts being like a murderer.
Yeah.
Like a cold-hearted Nazi.
But then it's all about redemption, isn't it?
I agree with you, but I think that would make it more interesting. But I see probably why they did it from
a toy selling point of view.
From a toy selling Disney marketing executive point of view. Well, we can't have one of the characters be a child killing, woman raping murderer, can we?
No.
And he goes on a quest of redemption. No, we can't have that. Make it so he's on his first mission, so his conscience is clear.
Yeah.
This is Disney, after all.
Yeah.
But I agree, that would have made it more interesting, but I can see... I'm okay with obviously what we did, because they still did the whole thing of, like, he saw his first mission, he saw the killing, and he was like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
But I liked that. I really liked the thing I was most fascinated by in the film was the BB-8 droid, because it was an actual practical effect.
Yeah.
Like, there was no CGI involved, and I was like, how did we do that? It's quite a racy special effect in the film where, like, you don't know how we did it.
Yeah.
I was like, huh.
Probably some kind of magnet.
Magnets or something, yeah. Oh, it was very clever. How they did, I made him, like, roll his head around like a ball and stuff. And I thought that was pretty awesome.
I didn't think he had as much personality as, like, R2-D2, though.
No. R2-D2's storyline in the film made no sense, by the way.
That was stupid.
That didn't make any sense.
Well, we had to...
Master R2 has been down since Luke left. And he's like, now he came back at the end of the film.
How would they sell R2-D2 toys, though, if he wasn't in it?
Well, you know, Yoda's not in the film, and, you know, they've slapped him on Force Awakens merchandise.
Let's say he's dead.
No, he's dead, yeah. I think they could at least appear as a Force ghost or something. Maybe could have an excuse, but no, they just...
No. Well, who would he appear to? There aren't any Jedi in the film.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure they'll get him in the second one when Rey becomes powerful.
That said, I did really like I think C-3PO's introduction was the best introduction of the old characters because it was
yeah.
It was pitch perfect C-3PO. Like Han and Leia haven't seen each other for like years and having this emotional moment. Then C-3PO was like, "Oh, Master Solo, it's so good to see you again." And I was like, "Oh, that was perfect." And I was like, yes, great. I'll take that over Carrie Fisher's reintroduction into the film. That said, I do like how we upgraded her from Princess Leia to be General Leia.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, she is a princess of nothing.
Well, yeah, her whole planet's died.
Her planet's destroyed, so she's not really a princess anymore.
Yeah.
That could have been an interesting plot element of the original, like, "Alright, princess! Alright, you're not a princess, are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I am a princess." "No, you're not. What are you talking about?" So, I mean, you know, like I say, there's a lot to like in the film. I think it's just elements of the script.
I think, yeah, it's bogged down by a lot of stuff, yeah.
Which is why, like, the whole kind of middle sequence was, I think, probably the weakest part of the film for me.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, we're on the freighter and Han Solo's talking to the two rival factions, and then there's like the squid monsters appear, and I was reminded of the unnecessary action scene in Star Trek in the first J.J. Abrams one, where Kirk lands on the snow planet and he's got to fight like a giant like Yeti monster.
I've not seen the first Star Trek.
Oh, right. Well, there's a scene where he lands on the snow planet and he has to fight a giant Yeti monster, and it's thrown in there for no reason.
No.
So we need an exciting action sequence with some alien in it.
Well, the thing with this and all is, you know, we're not having any exposition. Everything has to be building up to an action scene.
Yeah.
That was basically the reason, yeah. Basically, what they've done with this film is just they've taken everything people liked about the originals and jettisoned anything that might link back to what people didn't like about the prequels. Yeah. I don't know, I just wish it was something else. I wish it was just different.
Well, that's it. I think I have a feeling that with this one, in terms of, like I said, not from like an artistic or like storytelling point of view, Force Awakens is exactly the film that Disney needed to do with Star Wars. From a pure studio point of view, it was exactly what they needed to do, and they've laid the groundwork for future filmmakers to take off and do hopefully inventive things. Like I said, I am really looking forward to Episode 8, probably more so than this one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Rian Johnson's a great filmmaker, and I like the new characters, and I hope they do interesting things with them.
Yeah.
I hope it is kind of the Empire. Don't copy it beat for beat, but I hope it is the equivalent Empire Strikes Back of that.
As in being as good.
As being as good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. Do you think it's better than Return of the Jedi?
No.
I
don't think it's anywhere near.
I still prefer Return of the Jedi.
At least Return of the Jedi isn't just the same thing.
Return of the Jedi's got a great final third.
I think the first bit is great when they're on Jabba's palace.
Yeah, people's criticism about the film is that like it kind of goes on a bit too long, but I quite like it. I almost quite like the how one half is, well, the first third is Jabba, and then the second third is,
yeah,
well, one third's Ewoks, and then the last third is the great fight. So that's, you know, like the lightsaber fight in Return of the Jedi, I still think it's probably the best one.
Yeah,
because in terms from a character point of view, it's the most interesting one. Because in Empire, it's the conflict between a young untrained boy who thinks is the guy that killed his father, and then you've got Darth Vader fighting Luke, knowing that that's his son.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to wail on him too much. And it's even more interesting in Return of the Jedi because they're on the same page as each other now, and it's kind of like a no holds barred competition.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing we need to move towards, is making it more about making the characters' emotional beats clearer. Which is why I wish you had less Han Solo on the freighter doing like Han Solo if things are more like developing Finn and Rey's characters.
Yeah.
Because that becomes really important later on. That said, you know, I can't say this enough, I do think the new cast is very likeable.
Yeah.
You know, Oscar Isaac looks like, in the film, with his makeup and his wig and all that kind of stuff, he does look like he stepped out of the 70s Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Like, just his look. Like, he looks just like an old, like with a mullet and everything. He looks just like the 70s Star Wars character.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to say, it's kind of hard to know where to stop.
But no, it's not. It's nowhere near as good as Return of the Jedi, I don't think.
No, I agree, yeah.
I think that this film is going to just have the same reception as something like Avatar, I think. Where, you know, people like it at the time, and then I reckon in a couple of years this film will just be seen as okay.
Yeah, people see it as okay to good, I think.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the film.
It's not as bad as the prequels. It just does nothing
original. No, it's not as bad as the prequels.
Like I said, I think
just made by an insane person.
I think saying it doesn't do anything original is a bit unfair, because I do think it does do some new things.
Like what?
The reveal of the villain, the introduction of the main characters.
I think in fact, everything on a character level, the character stuff is new.
Yeah, so
but the plot is just the same. But that shouldn't be acceptable. They should at least
It's
try.
the same for all
something
major
new.
blockbusters. They all follow the same formula.
But but you'd have a go at a different film if it did that.
Well, okay. So
If there were another film that came out that was exactly the same as A New Hope,
I don't think it is exactly the same as New Hope.
I think it is.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's anything like A New Hope. Well, no, nothing like A New Hope. It's the temple of the film, but I don't think it's anything like A New Hope. I don't think there's no sections where it's an extended amount of period on like the space station. I don't think there's scenes.
The last scene, the bit where they're on the Star Killer.
I think it's more accurate to say it feels more like a remake of the whole original trilogy.
Yeah.
As opposed to A New Hope. I don't think saying just picking out A New Hope is accurate.
I think
it's more like I think it's more like an amalgamation of them all. Because you've got scenes that directly reference Empire, you've got scenes that directly reference plots from A New Hope and plots from Empire Strikes Back and plots from Return of the Jedi. I don't think A New Hope is. I don't think it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's more accurate to say it's a remake of the original trilogy.
Yeah.